that we are in for something delicious this morning. So Gifftie is an accomplished HR operations leader dedicated to driving business efficiency, systems optimization, and strategic organizational growth. She currently serves as an HR professional at HealthCap Africa, where she masterfully oversees workplace logistics, talent management, strategic quarterly planning, and company-wide SMART goals. Giftie's extensive career portfolio features robust cross-functional tenure across multiple sectors, including pivotal previous experiences as an administrative manager, a bookkeeper, and a sales support executive. Gifftie Nwanganga holds a first-class honors bachelor's degree in policy and administrative studies from the University of Calabar with CIPM in view, alongside data analytics and ALX virtual assistant certification. Fellow LDNIs, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of yielding the floor for today's learning circle to Gifftie Nwanganga. Please, let's welcome her, whether with a clap or with anything you want to. Let's show her some love. Speaker, please, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this platform. I hope everyone can hear me.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Amara and everyone else. Okay, so let's go straight in. I'll be sharing my screen. Sorry about that.
Are we okay? Are you having any issues?
I'm trying to look back to my slides. Okay.
Fasoro from Ibadan, thank you for responding that you can hear us. It's raining heavily here in Abuja, heavily. I wonder how the weather is where you are. Okay, our speakers found her mojo. And she's sharing her screen at the moment.
Okay.
Gifftie, are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right.
Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Not yet, it hasn't come up yet, please. We're waiting for it to come up.
Can you see it now?
Not yet, it is not showing yet. Double click to enter full screen mode. Maybe say they should share it. Smart, are you there? You want to share the screen from your end to support our speaker?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Gifftie, sorry, sometimes these things happen. I hope you're still coordinated.
Yes, I am. I'm actually.
Great.
Okay,
maybe
can I stop sharing
started.
and reshare?
Okay, that's fine. You can try that.
Okay.
We can see your face now.
Yes, we can see her face.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not yet. It says Gifftie Nwanganga has started screen sharing. Double click to enter full screen mode, but nothing from your slides showing yet. I'm not sure where the problem is from. Smart, are you able to see? Okay, it's showing now.
Okay, you can see my screen. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank
But you need
you.
to put it in slide mode. Do you want to do that?
It's in slide mode.
Oh, okay. It's looking small.
That means it's my screen you're seeing. Our screen is yet to come up then.
Okay. Sadie, maybe you should make your screen a slide mode.
Okay, our screen is still not up. Let me just share. Slideshow. Okay.
Okay, can you all see it now?
Not yet. It's coming up.
Okay.
It's up now. So maybe when you start scrolling, it will start, the text will start coming in. Correct, it's coming up. Now we can see it. Thank you very much.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. Today I'll be speaking on the 5 dysfunctions of a team. This is a book that was written by Patrick Lencioni, outlining the frameworks that happens in teams. So some of the core 5 pillars that were outlined in his book are: number 1, we're talking about absence of trust. Number 2, fear of conflict. 3, we're looking at lack of commitment. Fourthly is avoidance of accountability. And number 5 is inattention to results. So why this framework matters? So the insight is not just about talent. The team is working. So teamwork isn't just about being nice. It's about overcoming 5 specific and predictable dysfunctions that exist in every team to an extent. So what are the challenges? Investment without return. A lot of times, organizations invest heavily in recruiting talented individuals. You see a lot of organizations, you see people with lots and lots of experience and skills, yet many teams still underperform. They're not living up to their full expectations. So the reason is very preventable. Sometimes they have behavioral dysfunction that destroys teamwork from within. So before we proceed, I would like people to share their thoughts on what they have discovered in their own team. They can drop it in the chat room, that they have noticed in their own teams, in the organization where they work, that's among the listed 5 core ones. They can just drop that in the chat room. Okay. So this pyramid, the pyramid of dysfunction, it shows us that each dysfunction builds on the one below, and then we must first address the issues from the foundation. And the foundation begins with the absence of trust. What does that actually mean by the absence of trust? What it's trying to say is that it's not, this isn't just believing somebody to do or execute their job. It's about the fact that are they vulnerable? Is there any form of vulnerability-based trust? The fear that they don't look weak, they don't look incapable in front of their colleagues, in front of their peers. You know, when team members are unwilling to admit to their mistakes, where they're not acknowledging their mistakes, they don't acknowledge their weaknesses or the need for help. You know, they wear this armor with them without, so trust cannot exist where such takes place. Secondly, you have the fear of conflict. The fear of conflict. So we have established that the foundation is absence of trust, and secondly is fear of conflict, where there is a form of artificial harmony. So without trust, teams cannot even engage in any form of unfiltered or passionate debate around ideas. Instead, they default to artificial harmony, where they're not really coordinated in one voice, they're not speaking the same language, they're not all on the same page. So many people confuse conflict with being hostile. They are two separate things. Conflict is different from being hostile. You can have conflicting ideas, doesn't mean that we are hostile to each other. So a healthy conflict is not personal, it focuses on the subject matter, it focuses on the idea or the ideology of what is being discussed on the team or on the table at that moment. It's an honest debate about what the team fears, critical decisions without the fear of rubber stamp. While hostility, on the other hand, focuses on personality. I'll give an example. Let's say during a meeting, maybe there's a product meeting, a strategy meeting that's being held, and the team lead decides to present that, okay, this is our execution timeline, and in the room, everybody knows that this timeline is very unrealistic. It's a very unrealistic timeline, but because of the fear of I don't want to talk, I don't want to give opposing ideas, everyone just nods, and then they go back and they complain in private, in their DM, their chat rooms, and everybody's complaining when they could have actually heard their opinion right there. And they would have re-strategized and asked question, okay, why was the team lead insisting on this timeline when it looks unrealistic to the team? What could be the reason and all of that? Also, thirdly, is lack of commitment. Lack of commitment here. The core concept of lack of commitment means that this is without healthy conflict. You don't get to bind. Team members, they kind of pretend to agree to something, but let's just move on. Let it not be that I'm the one who said it, but they never fully commit to the execution. They never fully commit to that vision. It's just commitment isn't just about having a consensus that everybody is agreeing. It's about having clarity on allowing everyone to voice their opinion so that they can all align behind the final decision that is being made, even if it wasn't their first choice. Everybody is aligning, everybody's on the same page at the end of the day. So I would like to give a practical example. Let's say probably in the management meeting where people are to vote, adopting, maybe they are proposing of using a new software or kind of work tool. And then let's say the person's name is Alex decides that, okay, I disagree with this choice, but rather stay quiet, rather than in their mind, they're disagreeing with this choice, but rather than say anything during the meeting, later on they struggle with the tool. You see other team members begin to struggle with this tool instead of, Alex now begins to say, well, I told management, they picked it wasn't my idea. That means she was never truly committed to that idea. If she had raised or said anything during the vote or made her opinion count, maybe a different decision would have, or different outcome would have happened in the course of that meeting, or that vote they would have looked into it. Okay, what was your reason for saying this and all of that? So she can't be fully committed to using the software, even when she has a reservation, like, okay, this thing is good, but we might end up getting stuck halfway as a team while using this. Fourthly is avoidance of accountability. This happens a lot in many organizations. And I'll say personally for me, that this is one major point that, apart from lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability affects a lot of teams in various organizations where they're not fully, maybe team members are not fully ready to commit. They hesitate to call out bad behaviors because I don't want to be the one quoted that said this, or outline someone who delayed a task that was supposed to be submitted. So the best things don't just rely on the bosses for accountability. Everybody say, oh, whenever they are looking for accountability, everybody points to the team lead. Yes, the team lead is also responsible. Every member of that team holds as much responsibility as well as the team lead. One person's delay in putting up something that they were supposed that is crucial to a report can affect the whole thread of the flow of process that's supposed to have taken place. And because somebody is avoiding to call someone else out for that delay, every other person is looking for who to shift. It's not me. It's not me. I'm not the one. I submitted my own part. I did this and all of that. So nobody wants to be held accountable for what went wrong or why it didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. And lastly, we have inattention. This is like the peak of it may come in. So here, this is where individuals are held accountable. They start prioritizing their ego or their status or their career progression in an organization or department over the collective goal of a team. They prioritize their own personal gain over what is collective to the general team. Let's take, for instance, and then you also have a customer support team where maybe the sales team is giving out a massive discount on deals to their customers. And then at the same time, they are meeting their own sales targets for the quarter, for the year. And while the customer support team is overwhelmed with the whole request, at that time, sales team is not considerate of how it affects the customer support. That, okay, yes, you guys are doing a discount, but you did not bring us into this, your plan, or how it will affect the team and how we can strategize for this discount as the others will come, the volume of the others that may come in. So they prioritize their own winnings aside the whole team collective goal. So they're just focused on, we just want to hit our KPIs for that quarter. They were more focused on that. So when you don't pay attention, to listen results, you're just thinking about, oh, as long as I'm the star in the technical, as long as you're winning, that's all that matters to you. You're not paying close attention to all of those things. You let your status, your career progression, or ego ride over the collective decision of the whole team. So, on the absence of trust, as I've earlier mentioned, what it is here. So, team members here are team members are unwilling to be vulnerable with one another. They hide their weaknesses, their mistakes, their fears. This is not a predictive trust or trusting someone's competence. It's a vulnerability-based trust. The willingness to say, oh, I was wrong, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I need help, and all of that is very significant. So without trust, teams will waste energy managing perceptions instead of doing work. They would also hesitate to ask for help or even give their honest feedback. You realize that feedback is not, they don't, sometimes they end up saying they don't have any feedback. They don't give honest feedback. They hold grudges and make damaging assumptions along the line. Dread team meetings. They dread team meetings. Whenever there's a team meeting, they're always dreading it. They avoid collaboration, anything that will involve collaborating with others. How to overcome it? Number one, personal histories exercise. So it will also be good if each member of the team, including the team lead, will share backgrounds and formative experience, humanize the team, make the team feel comfortable that, okay, we are not alone in this. Organize team effectiveness exercise. Each member names their single biggest contribution of every colleague, where everyone outlines, okay, what's the biggest contribution of your teammates? What's the biggest contribution of A or B? So it's a form of exercise, and it also helps to build trust. Also, the 360-degree behavioral feedback. This is like a structured peer feedback on behaviors, not just on performance, where you check people's attitude. Do they really mean what they say? This boils down to a form of communication. where you're saying something and your body language is also saying another. So a structured peer, in each thing on their feedback. How is their behavior affecting their performance? Is their attitude in their job affecting their performance and all of that? It helps people to look deeply. And lastly, how to overcome this absence of trust. Leaders should model vulnerability first. So leaders must go first. They must learn to admit openly, not just admit that, okay, I've admitted to myself. Let other team members, like, okay, if my leader can accept that he's vulnerable, so that means I can also air my opinions if I'm vulnerable and I need help. So admit to mistakes openly before expecting others. Because if the leader, his or herself, cannot admit openly, you don't expect team members to also want to admit when they are wrong, when they need help, or when they are stuck somewhere. The next dysfunction is fear of conflict. A lot of time, teams that lack trust cannot engage in unfiltered, passionate debate. The result to veiled discussions, unguarded comments, creating boring meetings, and sometimes inferior decisions that do not end up helping the team. So what's the best way to go about this? There are 3 methods outlined. Can you hear me? Okay, so we have the destructive conflict and we have the healthy conflict. So destructive conflict here involves personal attack on character and personality, where you're focusing on the person's character and their personality rather than on the issue. Secondly, you're focusing on winning the argument and not finding the truth or the root cause of the issue. It creates lasting resentment and a form of broken trust among team members. Also, destructive conflict involves mean-spirited and unproductive for the team. While healthy conflict here on the other side focuses on passionate debates, the passionate debate involves ideas and strategy, how to strategize and all of that. Secondly, is focused on finding the best answer for the team. Thirdly, uncomfortable in the movement, but productive. Thirdly, it leaves no lingering resentment. There's no form of resentment. There are no issues are resolved there, right there. It's a healthy conflict. Everyone is sharing their ideas, their ideologies, and all of that. So how can it be overcome? You mine for conflict, extract any form of buried disagreement actively. This can be done either during the daily meetings or weekly meetings. Give permission, explicitly allow disagreement in meeting because disagreements are healthy. Allow people to disagree. People disagree to agree. So healthy disagreement in meetings is also one way to overcome this. Use TKI. So leverage the Thomas Kilmann conflict instrument. It's very, very effective. Then reframe conflict. So leaders project it as a necessary tool, healthy conflict, not the fear of it, not the absence of it, but healthy conflict where people are sharing ideologies, they're debating on focused ideas and strategy. The third dysfunction, lack of commitment. So without healthy conflict, team members rarely buy into decisions. The feign agreement in meetings, then they question their decisions afterwards, creating some sort of ambiguity, missed deadlines, and paralysis along the way. So the big misunderstanding, commitment does not just require consensus, it requires clarity and buy-in, not just conceding to what was just said, but there's clarity around what was discussed, clarity in the decision that was taken. So signs that in your team, where your teams are lacking commitment, you see, firstly, you see directional ambiguity, where there are unclear priorities at every level. Priorities will be very unclear. Secondly, they'll may miss deadlines and deliverables. They will sleep without any form of consequences. People, thirdly, there's excessive analysis and unnecessary delay on simple decisions, where there's so much bureaucracies around, decisions that are supposed to be taken smartly and effectively, but there will be so much delay, unnecessary delay. Also, second guessing. Second guessing is also a sign that there are ways to overcome it. You have means you accept, you fully support the decision, even if your opinion differed. You may have a different opinion, but then in the meeting or the outcome of that meeting, you agreed to that decision, you supported the decision. So you disagree and you commit. Cascading messaging. Teams align on what to communicate and to the rest of the organization. So they'll outline what's the best way to communicate and how would they communicate that to the rest of the organization. Also, they set hard deadlines, commit to specific dates and honor them. Ambiguity thrives without them. So you set hard deadlines. Also, worst case scenario planning, always leave room for worst case scenario planning. So it reduces fear of commitment by naming what failure could actually look like, to avoid them. So when you're planning ahead, you know that you're committed to the process. So you are already planning what's the worst case scenario in the course of planning this, and you're already prepared for it so that you attack the problem or you find solution whenever you encounter hitches along the line. Another dysfunction is avoidance of accountability. A lot of times people avoid accountability. Accountability is great. Accountability in great teams is driven by peer pressure, not top-down management, when only the leader holds people accountable. Mediocrity becomes acceptable and high performance disengage. So signs that your team avoids accountability. Missed deadlines and deliverables.
We can't see your slides, man.
Mediocrity.
I can't see your slides any longer.
Is any other person experiencing this? I'm still sharing.
Yes, we can't see the slide.
We cannot see the slides.
Yeah, Gifftie, it could be your
Can you see
bandwidth
it
is
now?
it could be your bandwidth is too low because we can't see your slides. We can see that your screen sharing, but the slides are not coming up. So it's probably your bandwidth.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No, we can't.
Okay, let me stop and reshare.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
It's the same as last time. We can see that you are screen sharing, but we cannot see we cannot see the slides. So I think maybe you want to ask Sadie to share for you again.
Okay, please can she go ahead to share? Because I don't know why
Hello, Sadie, could you please share your screen? Thank you. Hello, Sadie, are you there? Amara, are you there?
Sadie is not on the call. I think the network took her out.
Ah.
I think some people are facing a lot of challenges this morning. Amara is also not on the call.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I will just as it goes on. Let me see if I can get the slides from them.
Maybe she could turn off her video. That could probably help, and share the slide, or she just continues without the slide. These are the two best options now.
Okay, Gifftie, what would you
Okay,
like to do? Yeah.
okay, I've turned off my video. Can you see my slides now?
I still can't.
Not yet.
Can you see it now?
No, we can't.
I guess it's the network.
Can we go on while she's trying to share her screen so that
Yeah,
we don't
please go ahead. Go
waste
ahead.
time?
Go ahead, yes.
Okay. So I was saying signs that I was on function number 4, avoidance of accountability. But before I go ahead, I saw in the chat from someone asked what what TKI means. So TKI is a Thomas Kilmann's conflict mode instrument. It's something that is widely used worldwide. It's an assessment tool for measuring how an individual handles conflict. So that's what the TKI represents. It's a tool that's globally used, how individuals measure their conflict or how they handle their conflicts. And so Thomas Kilmann is a psychologist who developed this. So it measures your assertiveness, it measures your cooperativeness. That's what the model is about. Okay, so moving forward, so accountability in great teams is driven by peer pressure, not top-down management when only the leader holds people accountable. Mediocrity becomes acceptable and high performance disengage. So signs that your team avoid accountability, they have missed deadlines and key deliverables, they have mediocre performance and it's tolerated very openly. There's no form of there's no consequences for missed deadline. Then subtly, resentment grows among high performers. People who are high flyers in the team begin to grow some sort of resentment over time. Managers too become the sole source of discipline. which shouldn't be. Also, ways on how to overcome this. Firstly, is publish goals and standard. As a team, you should publish the goals and the standard that are set. Make the expectation explicit, clear. The expectation should be clear, and then it should be visible to the whole team. So also you have team level progress reviews. So review commitment as a group from time to time, whether it's weekly, whether it's quarterly, or it's daily. Review commitment as a group, not just one-on-one. One-on-ones are good, but as a group, if it is done weekly, review the team's commitment to check the team's level of progress. Also, link individual reward to team goals. So instead of just having individual rewards, link them towards the team goals. So it will increase, there's an increased collective performance and not just personal output. So, and lastly, on how to improve this, you have give direct and immediate feedback. So, how do you do that? But gaps are being addressed respectfully. If there are gaps, they are addressed respectfully and they are addressed promptly, not later, not something that will be maybe something that was supposed to be was treated as very urgent that was supposed to be done in 30 minutes. You give the feedback 2 days after. So it should be done respectfully and promptly. So under dysfunction number 5, sorry, we have inattention to results. So this is where when teams are not held accountable, they put individual needs, their ego, their career, their recognition ahead of collective team goals. So results become secondary to their personal status. So individual status in terms of their career development, personal recognition, it matters more than whether the team wins or not. So members are more focused on their own advancement above collective outcome. So on that, for teams, there's so much complacency. So being part of a prestigious team sometimes feels like enough. Members coast on the team's reputation without pushing for actual results. A lot of people just ride on, okay, we're riding on the reputation of the team, what the team has built over time, instead of pushing for actual results, measurable results and performance over time. So how to overcome it? Oh, I highlighted three ways on how this can be overcome. Publicly declare team results. Post them. Make your team members feel heard. Post them where everyone sees them visibly. Either it's daily, either it's weekly. Then tie compensations and reward directly to the outcome of the team and not just individual metrics. So if somebody does something very wonderful on the team or goes way and beyond, so tie that reward to the team that, okay, so person, so team was performed wonderfully well. So because of this, team A has won whatever is the target, or there has been whatever is the set out prize or reward for that outcome. So keep score, make them visible, make it something that is consistent, current, and constantly referenced in meetings. So maybe if you have your Monday morning meetings, or you make sure that everybody knows that this team did excellently well, they performed well, or someone on individual on that team did excellently well. It is referenced in meetings and people hear, people see, it is visible. So what are the key takeaways from this book? Firstly, the dysfunctions are interconnected. You see that from the first to number 5, they are all interconnected, from trust and then to accountability and all of that. So the dysfunctions are interconnected. You cannot skip the foundation. Trust enables conflict. Conflict also enables commitment, and commitment enables accountability, while accountability ensures that results are produced. So the sequence matters. The sequence matters a lot. So secondly, trust is about vulnerability and not competence. So predictive trust, I trust they can do their job, is not enough most times. Teams need vulnerability-based trust. Their willingness to admit that, okay, we are stuck, we need help, we have challenges, and we need to ask for help and be genuinely open about it. So third way, healthy conflict is very productive, is productive harmony. So artificial harmony might feel safe for a while, but then it breeds poor decision over time. You see resentment, you see disengagement, team morale drops, teams are not they are not passionate about what they do anymore. You know, people are making poor choices instead of better choices. So with the fourth key takeaway is commitment requires clarity and not consensus. Not everyone needs to agree, but everyone needs to be aligned. Everyone doesn't need to agree, but they all need to be aligned whenever it's a team goal. We know that as a team, this is what has been set out to do. Everyone needs to be aligned. Commitment follows clarity of decision and genuine buying into that decision. And last key takeaway is to overcoming dysfunction requires continuous effort. It's not something you do, okay, we start it, we do it the first month, we do it this first quarter, and then we see a little bit of improvement and then everybody just forgets about it. No, it's something that requires consistency, a continuous effort to overcome them. So this is not a one-time fix. It's something that is continuous. Great theme builds habits. They revisit norms, they revisit patterns. They hold each other to standard continuously, and discipline is the differentiator in all of this. So how can we put this model in your various teams? How to use it? Step one, you have to first diagnose your team. It's just like somebody who is sick who says, oh, I feel a headache. I'm not feeling too well today. I feel sort of dizzy. And instead of self-medicating, it's best to actually go into a hospital or to a doctor and get yourself checked for proper diagnosis. So you sit with your team, you diagnose your team is the first step. Start with honesty. Be honest about it. Identify which dysfunction is very prevalent in your team. So you cannot even start fixing what you do not even know. So you must first of all, for you to solve a problem, you must first identify that you have a problem. So identifying it is the first step. And then diagnosing it. How can we fix it? And then you can do this either through team surveys, discussions, or sometimes if it's something that's very glaring, it can be specific. Name the pattern and not just the symptom. And in treating this, you don't just treat the symptoms, you treat the root cause of the issue. Step two, start at the foundation. Don't skip the process. Say, trust does not really align with my team. I'm not really sure that's what's really prevalent. But first start from the foundation. You might be shocked that what you think it might not be prevalent is actually there. So start at the foundation. Build trust first. So run a personal history check with your team and your team effectiveness exercises. It encourage your team leads or leaders to model vulnerability. You know, not that they are putting themselves, team leads are not putting themselves out there. People who are weak. No, they acknowledge that yes, they are humans, they have flaws, they can make mistakes, and they admit to their mistakes. So without a trust foundation, all subsequent interventions will fail. So when there's no trust established, any form of intervention will flop along the way. So the third step is walk up the pyramid. Sequence matters. So fix trust before you address conflict. You must first fix trust issue. You cannot address conflict without fixing trust. Fix conflict before even expecting commitment. Fix commitment before holding people accountable. And fix accountability before measuring results. And the last step is measure and monitor. So make it visible. How do you measure and monitor? Make it visible. Define clear terms. Let it be clear. Let the communication be clear. Define clear terms and results. Make them visible and public, not just to a certain group of people. Let every member of the team, every member of the organization, okay, this is what is expected of everyone in each team. Then track progress regularly. If you're doing a weekly tracker, you're doing a monthly tracker, but ensure that you track progress regularly and hold each other accountable in a team. Hold each other accountable, not just in your one-on-one, but hold everyone accountable. So if one person doesn't do something, every other person is going to be held accountable as to why that person was unable to do what they were supposed to do when they were expected to do it. So everyone will be held accountable. So, and lastly, I'll say perfect teams do not exist. There's no perfect team anywhere in the world. Great teams work on these dysfunctions continuously with honesty, with discipline, and with a sense of shared commitment. It can be overcome. Thank you. So sorry that the network is not allowing my screen to be seen.
Wow, thank you so much, Gifftie. Even so, we still got a lot from what you were saying. At least you explained the framework very well, the dysfunctions, and then what we should do to prevent them or overcome them. So thank you so much. It's just one of those things. We can't control it. And it's good practice for us as facilitators, because often, even in person, technology can fail you. And you just have to be able to continue.
Yes.
And you did that very graciously. So thank you
Yes.
very much. All right. So let me share my
Thank
screen.
you.
It's time for our questions and answers. So what questions do you have for our gifted speaker? What questions do you have for her on the 5 dysfunctions of a team? Let me check the chat, and I'll start from the bottom upwards. I think that's what I'll do. How and where will you classify the... Oh, okay, Gifftie, please go ahead. How and where will you classify this network issue or conflict like this one we experienced? So imagine it was in a team setting, and this is what happened.
Is
right?
a dysfunction.
Yeah.
We have diagnosed the issue. We have identified that it's a network problem. So it's how to fix the connectivity. That will be the next thing. So if we have diagnosed the problem that is network, it's connectivity that is the issue.
Yeah. Okay, so please, if you have questions for her, please raise your hand so that I can invite you to unmute.
What a bandwidth issue? Bandwidth issue, what is it?
Well, bandwidth issue is also connectivity issue. It also all boils down to what network is being used, and also the kind of device that is also being used can affect bandwidth issue. And then your location too matters. So all these 3 are interconnected.
So that would be a good feedback for all of us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So we have another question.
Completely agree with you that perfect teams do not exist. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, so we have a question from Eniola. She says, favoritism in teams from a team lead can be classified as?
Okay, I would say favoritism by team leads. I would say it's a culture killer. it's a very bad culture which shouldn't be found in any team at all. Favoritism kills team spirit and it leads to lack of motivation during workflow. So I'll say that is a culture killer. So if you're in a team where your team needs a culture killer and it falls toxicity and conflict, unhealthy conflict precisely. It also makes other people, it triggers rightly recognizes. So how can it be how can it be addressed? So I would say to eliminate that is standardized assignments. No form of whatever is attached to your role, your KPI, your deliverables, it should be standardized. So that it doesn't breed any room for favoritism. So where someone has clearly missed something or something didn't align to the goal that was expected in their KPI, it is quickly addressed immediately.
Okay, thank you, Gifftie. I mean, which dysfunction?
I hope I've
Yeah, you
answered
have.
that question.
But I wanted to ask about the dysfunction because that favoritism, wouldn't it lead to an absence of trust in the team?
Yes, it leads to an absence of trust too, as well. It does.
Yeah.
Because from the leader, you can't trust your leader, then it's a problem.
Okay. We have another question from Chidinma, who's asking, where do we lose the most time or energy because of dysfunction?
We lose the most time and energy during accountability when we're not accountable.
Okay, can you explain a bit more?
So when we are not accountable on our team, we lose a lot of time because everyone is avoiding blame. What should have been solved in blame, and that is time being wasted that should have been used for something more productive.
Okay, thank you very much. IK is also asking about how many can one likely address for B teams. So IK, I'm going to invite you to unmute and ask your question, clarify your question a bit. What do you mean by B teams? What do you mean by B team? I know what an A team is and a B team is in football, but I don't know what it is in this context. Do you want to explain to us? Please go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the understanding that we're talking about A teams and teams that are high in category. It's possible too that we have the B teams, which are not as sophisticated. Yeah. Can you hear me, please?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm imagining
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm imagining that in a second class called B teams. How many dysfunctions are we likely to see for such teams?
Okay. All right. Gifftie, over to you. She may have frozen. So, okay, so Gifftie, please just jump in when you rejoin us. Let me try and answer the question. Or do we have anybody on the call right now who would like to take a stab at answering this question? Would these dysfunctions affect an A team and a B team differently? That's question one. And if they do, which ones are we likely to have to address for the B teams? Who would like to take a stab at answering that question? Okay, no takers. All right, so let me make an attempt at that. A teams tend to be high-performing teams. They've got your best players, and they've got people who have learned to keep their eye on the goal. And even if they are very self-motivated, they understand that I can't do everything by myself and I must collaborate with other people. in order for us to all be successful and for me to shine. So I would say A teams have fewer, and this is just me speculating. I haven't really thought about this question before. I would say A teams have fewer dysfunctions than B teams. B teams, and I'm using the football analogy because that's where I know B teams from, is players who are not quite the best, and they only make it to the A team when one of the A players is not there. So you're a substitute. You come in when there's an opportunity for you. Some of them may feel like second-class players, right? And I can imagine in a B team environment, people want to compete with each other so that they can stand out, come to people's attention and be promoted to the A team. So I can imagine that within a B team context, you have a lot more of the dysfunctions than in an A team. Welcome back, Gifftie. Welcome.
Oh,
So
thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. I was just making an attempt to answer the question about are the dysfunctions likely to be different in A teams as opposed to B teams? And if so, how many dysfunctions are we likely to see in the B teams?
Okay, I really did not get that clearly. I would like to understand the question better so I know how to answer.
Yeah, so I was telling him I only know A teams and B teams from sport. And the A teams are the top players, the high performers,
Okay.
right? And then the B team is like the backup team and if a top player is not available, one of the members of the B team could be elevated, right, to fill in the spot for an A player. And all the B team players aspire to join the A team, okay? So they're the backup players, they're the backup team. So what do you think?
Well, what would be the dysfunction? That's a tough one, actually. I would liken that to a place of trust. Yeah, trust and commitment. So, would they trust the B team enough to share their vulnerability that okay, yes, we want to step in to do this, but we need help. And then are they also going to be committed to the process?
Absolutely. So in terms of the B team, their personal goals may outweigh the team goals because they want to be personally elevated to the A team. So yeah, I think between us, we managed to answer that question. Any other question about the 5 dysfunctions of the team or how to use the Thomas Kilmann conflict modes, which you have mentioned, or any other aspect of this talk? Any other questions? If there are no questions, I'll say a big thank you to Gifftie. And I'll just run through our housekeeping before we come to the end. So please evaluate this session. You will receive an evaluation link. Please evaluate the session. This is the Learning and Development Network International. It's the home for learning and development practitioners. It's the home for you if you're a new facilitator, if you're an experienced facilitator. It's a safe place for you to practice and hone your skills. We provide opportunities for people who might not otherwise have opportunities for them to grow and learn as we join them in growing and learning. And I think we've learned a lot today. So please, let's appreciate our speaker, Gifftie. Let's put all the emojis. Let's give her our applause. Let's give her our hearts. Let's give her our starbursts because 5 dysfunctions of a team are real. Sometimes you hire the right people, you're paying them well, you give them all the benefits, you speak to them kindly and everything. It's still not working. Why? What's going on? And she did a fantastic job, as Aniela said. When there was a technical issue, she just continued on like a trooper, which is what we expect from all our L&D people. So thank you, Gifftie. Please, let's show her our appreciation. And the link to the evaluation is in the chat. So kindly evaluate the session. We have some upcoming learning circles. We do these, our virtual weekly learning circles every week here on LDNI. And next week on the 29th of July, we have Omotoyosi Adenle, LDA, who is going to talk to us about managing up, which is another huge issue. Managing up. Some people know how to manage their subordinates. How do you manage the people you report to? How to support leadership without losing yourself. That is a really critical skill in these days. So don't miss that one. That one is coming up on the 29th of July. And then we also have a masterclass. Oh, we're advertising the masterclasses that will be featured during our Champions of Talent Development Conference, which is coming up on the 15th and 16th of September. Please be there. Make your appointment. Make sure you're there. Last year was awesome. Transformed lives, transformed businesses, transformed organizational practices. And it's going to do the same thing again this year. So we have a how-to masterclass with Omolaja Shoniron. And he's just one speaker out of many that we will have at our upcoming Champions of Talent Development Conference. We also partner with ATD to deliver some ATD certificate programs. So if in your organization you have 10 people or more and you'd like us to organize one of these programs for you in person, just let us know, just message us and we will do that. And then of course, our flagship event every year, the Champions of Talent Development Conference, CTD. Theme this year is human-centered learning, balancing technology and people. I don't know if you're aware of, you're up to date with what's going on in the news. Everybody's talking about AI, how AI is revolutionizing work, how AI is revolutionizing jobs, how AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, and so on. And recently, the research has shown that actually AI doesn't do a good job of replacing people. It does a fantastic job of augmenting the skills of people, augmenting the way people do their work. And there's a lot of research now about how the advantages and disadvantages of AI when it comes to education and learning. And so we're going to be doing a deep dive into all of that and sharing with you how to do it right. Human-centered learning, balancing technology and people. The delegate fee is there, and I can see the link to the conference registration is on the chat. So click there and you'll see the different categories, financial members, non-financial members. If you are a youth corper or a graduate, if you're a senior citizen, we have different categories for you. There are still opportunities for you to sponsor if you would like to sponsor. If you enjoyed this weekly virtual learning circle, and you'd like to elevate the visibility of your brand, there are sponsorship opportunities with your logo, for your logo, to do a custom promo, to have a full slide with your promotional content or a video jingle. Just send your email to customercare@ldni.info or call the number on the screen and we will contact you about those opportunities. And finally, if you are not a member of LDNI yet, what are you waiting for? Are you in this learning space, in the education space, in the talent development space? If you are, you need to be a member of LDNI. It's a wonderful, wonderful home to all of us. So please just contact membership at ldni.info. You can also go to our website, ldni.info, or call the number on the screen. You can also just send a message in the chat right now to the host or to me, and we will contact you. You don't have to contact us. So become a member of LDNI today. It's a wonderful, wonderful place for you to find yourself. You're always growing. You don't have to go away to do a course, travel away to do a course, pay a lot of money, for some training. We make sure that our members are always learning. Through these weekly virtual learning circles, we have monthly in-person learning events in our chapters around the country. And anything we do, if we do a networking event, if we do a L&D Connect, if we do an exercise event, we infuse learning into everything we do and we make sure you enjoy it at the same time. So that's us. Since you don't have any questions, we'll be able to bring today's learning circle to a close earlier than usual. I'd like to say a big thank you once again to our speaker, Gifftie. That was awesome. The 5 dysfunctions of a team. Please, now that she's told you about them, look out for them, right? So you can recognize them when they're happening. She also gave us the strategies for how to address those 5 dysfunctions when you identify them. And if you're not familiar with Thomas Kilmann conflict modes, the 5 conflict modes: competing, collaborating, compromising, avoiding, and accommodating, you need to become aware of them because it will help you address conflict without it being a confrontation or becoming a fight. So these are the benefits of attending our weekly virtual learning circles, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you all so very much. And please remember to take the evaluation before you leave us. Gifftie, thank you. Seide, Amara, everyone, thank you. And I'll talk to the network next week to tell it that it should please not misbehave for us when we gather this time next week. Bye-bye, and enjoy the rest of
It
your
should
day.
not cause disruptive conflict.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.